Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to this week's episode of the Random Richards.
What's up, everybody?
Let's jump right into this. Let's jump right into the show this week. Been a lot going on. Let's talk about the shootings.
No.
More of these shootings.
No. I'm not doing shootings yet. I have to get this done before we continue because, like the great Arthur Fonzarelli from Happy Days, I do not like to admit when I'm wrong. Okay, I was wrong, everybody. The executive order for the unemployment apparently you can use that FEMA money because they are. So I'm an idiot. I don't know anything. I'm just speaking. I try to do some fact checking. So I'm not like these idiots who just post shit, these Facebook warriors who just post anything. So I try to do some have informed discussion, but my information was incorrect. So therefore, that's on me. I think Arizona are already getting some of the payments, and a whole bunch of other states have signed up, and a whole bunch of other states are going to get it. Now, we were correct that it only provides temporary relief, but if we're being fair and we're being honest, we have to give credit where it's due. This did and is going to help people no matter what, and help a lot of people. It's only temporary. It's only going to help so much, but it does help. I mean, getting an extra $300 to $400, depending on your state, doesn't hurt you. Yes, it's only probably 3 weeks, but that's 3 weeks more than you would have gotten, and it buys some time for these assholes to get back and make a real package. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, by the way, you were wrong too.
It'll go retroactive. How so?
Well, you were on the same page with me. You were saying that these executive orders didn't mean shit and they weren't going to happen.
Well, no, that's not what I was saying. What I was saying is that these executive orders are kind of, a mute point, because by the time they actually take action, it'll be September 1st, which is when they'll actually be rolled out. States have to apply to even get that funding. And then, God forbid that there's any hurricane or anything, all that funding goes away. The other thing is, if the reserve for FEMA falls below $25 million, that funding goes away. Because they're pulling from FEMA, and they're not going to allow FEMA to be underfunded.
All right. So the audience can make their own decisions. I'm willing to admit when I fucked up. It looks like Rob is just gonna stick to his guns, but whatever. I don't want to spend too much time about me being wrong. However, I will always say, if new information comes out on something that we discussed, or if anybody calls me out on it at any point, I'm willing to say, okay, I fucked up. I wasn't as informed as I thought I was. So I'll take it. Thank you, sir. May I have another? I'll bend over, grab the fucking paddle, and have your swing. What do you want me to do? I was wrong. I'm admitting it now. You know how, like, when they fuck up on an article, they put their little thing on the bottom and they'll say, we incorrectly referred to this or that. That's what I'm doing. This is my little edited copy saying I fucked up.
Your asterisk.
Yes.
Your asterisk.
Yes. Or I'll give you the Curb Your Enthusiasm early seasons. Larry David, I fucked up. But anyways, let's not continue with that topic. Now go ahead into your into the Wisconsin shooting.
Yeah, so I did see the video of the shooting in Wisconsin and did read a little bit about the backstory. And apparently, like, This guy was just there to break up a fight. I mean, I saw the video. I don't understand why the officer shot him 7 times.
Who can?
Problem.
How if you're listen, if you're a pro, and this is what they always say. This is what they always say. Well, just do what they tell you to do. Like, well, wait, the guy has rights too. Like, I understand cops have a job to do, and I comply with what police tell me to do. But there are times, and I've experienced it personally, where cops fuck with you for no reason. I once had a cop, when I asked him why he pulled me over, he said, "You were looking at me hard." And this is a true fucking story. I was looking at him hard. So these guys abuse their power on a regular basis. So sometimes, and I shouldn't say these guys, not all of them, some of them abuse their power on a regular basis. So, and mind you, this guy was a detective, so it's not like he was even in a marked vehicle or anything. And I didn't even look at him hard. That's the crazy thing. Like, even if I did, so what? But I didn't even do that. But whatever. That's not the point. The point is that we still have rights as citizens. And even if a cop is questioning me, I have the right to go back to my car and be like, leave me alone. Like, what do you want from me? Get away from me. Like, that's not breaking the law. Like, if I didn't do anything wrong and I know I didn't do anything wrong, it's like we talked about telling the judge to eat a bag of dicks. Like, I'm not breaking any laws here. Fuck off. Leave me alone. And if there's something that they need from him because somebody, like, there was a crime involved and he was involved in the crime, then fine. But he still doesn't get it. Even if he was involved in the crime or the domestic dispute, that doesn't mean you get to pump 7 shots in his back. Like,
yeah,
what the fuck are we doing?
So I looked at it. I try to look at it from the law enforcement background and, consider, like, okay, what would make this reasonable? Like, and I couldn't, unless they thought he was going for a gun. But even then, like, before he got,
they had plenty of chance to stop him. Yes.
Yeah. Before you dump 7 rounds in the guy, why wouldn't you tase him? Why wouldn't you, like, use another means of force rather than pump 7 rounds in this guy's back? Like,
well, you know what they'll say to that? Oh, well, we can't put him in a chokehold. that will be their answer to that.
So you can't use your taser? So you can't, like,
just tackle him?
Officers are giving non-lethal measures, like, for a reason. Like, they're given OC spray. They're given batons. They're given, like...
Yes,
tasers
exactly.
To use as a first option before you lethally kill someone. Like...
Well, luckily he's alive.
Yeah.
Luckily, but, I mean, not only this, dude. Not only did they fucking pump these rounds into him, what if one of those bullets hit one of those kids in the car? Are you fucking kidding me? Then what do we have on our hands? Cops murdered a fucking child because they can't handle a situation without pulling their guns and bucking shots. Like, what? This isn't the fucking Wild Wild West. What the fuck?
Well, and the other thing is the impact on those kids that were in that vehicle.
Absolutely. Yeah, and they wonder why the black community hates the cops. Well, 3 kids just saw their dad or whatever he is to them just get pumped full of fucking shots by you guys when he didn't do anything to you. Gee, I wonder why they hate the cops. What the fuck? I mean, I don't. It's going to be hard for the Blue Lives Matter people to put their spin on this one, unless new information comes out that we don't know about. And I always say, don't grab the pitchfork. Wait till all the facts come out. But it's going to be hard to find some facts from what you saw that will change the narrative of this.
Yeah, I mean, the only perspective I thought that if this could be even remotely be okay was he was going to the vehicle to get a weapon and, to turn around and use the weapon on them. That would be the only circumstance. But then even then, they had the opportunity before he went into the vehicle.
He didn't even get to that point.
Yeah.
If
they
they
shoot someone in the back 7 times for suspicion that they might have a weapon in the car.
Yeah, exactly. No, nobody saw a weapon. Now, I'm sure in the report somebody's going to claim they thought they saw a weapon or something like that. Or maybe there is. Maybe we just don't know. Maybe there was a weapon in the car.
Or maybe he was going to get his cell phone to protect himself.
Possibly. But we don't. So point. You're making my point. We don't know all the facts. But we don't know all the facts. But it's going to be hard to put any type of spin on this that's going to say they were justified, because even these scenarios we're bringing up doesn't seem to justify putting 7 shots into somebody's back. Yeah. It would be different if he grabbed the weapon and turned towards them. Okay. But 7 shots in his fucking back? Wow. A lot of good those NBA jerseys did.
Well, and it's not one officer who's got a guy that's sizably larger than him and he's scared and a whole nother situation. This dude was assisted by another officer. There's another officer right there beside him. This is criminal. What he did was criminal.
And
I'll say that based on preliminary facts.
Yes.
Him shooting him in the back 7 times is criminal.
This is with limited knowledge. We both acknowledge that we don't have all the facts yet. However, on the surface, this looks fucked up, and it's even. I mean, I don't want to say it's worse than any of these other incidents, but it's up there. I mean, in the case with the guy at the Wendy's, at least that guy turned back and was trying to shoot them with the taser. So at least they have that defense. But from what we know, I mean, this looks bad. Which leads me, because I don't want to spend too much time on this, because, what else is there to say? But it leads me to this other shooting that happened in Louisiana. Did you see the video for this one?
No,
the guy actually died. So the guy, now, again, different circumstance. This one, they have a little bit more defense because the guy did have a knife. Okay. But they're following this guy while he walks with the knife towards the convenience store at a gas station. So he's walking towards the gas station, convenience store. As soon as he goes to open the convenience store door, they shoot him 11 times in the back. Okay? Now, again, he did have a knife. But like you said, and supposedly they did tase him, and it didn't have an effect. So maybe this guy was on some shit. Maybe this guy was mentally ill. Who knows? Again, the facts haven't come out yet. But this guy is now dead because they couldn't find another way to stop this guy. And he walked at least a good, judging from the video, it's hard to tell, but he walked at least a good, I would say, 50 feet before he even got to the door of that convenience store. So did this guy deserve to lose his life? There's no, and not only that, think about this. 11 shots. They shot right in front of a convenience store. Who knows how many people were actually inside the convenience store besides the people working there or the person working there? And who knows how many other lives they put at risk compared to the guy with the knife? The guy with the knife might have just been going in there to get away from them, not to hurt anybody. Their intention is not to hurt anybody, but they could have done way more damage than him by just shooting 11 fucking bullets. And if you want to tell me as law enforcement that you have a pretty good shot and you're not going to shoot a stray bullet that's going to kill somebody else, well then why didn't you shoot him in the ass to just take him down? Why'd you have to kill him? Why is that not an alternative? Why are we shooting with deadly force? You said yourself, they have these other measures. They have batons. They could have tried to knock the knife out of his hand. They have the tasers that didn't work. Fine. Don't they have these fucking beanbag shotguns and stuff, other stuff that are non-lethal? Like, when are we going to start using methods that make more sense? The guy has to die? Now, I'm sure he's no saint. He's walking down the street with a fucking knife. But again, we don't know the circumstances. For all we know, this guy could have been strung out on drugs. This guy could have been mentally, ill. But we didn't give him the benefit of the doubt. We just fucking shot him. That's fucked up. And for those people that don't see, like, what? How are we living on the same planet? How are you people? How do you justify this stuff? I don't fucking get it.
Well, and to go back to like that whole thing about the mentally unstable thing, I don't know if you recall, some years ago there was a grandmother who called about her grandson who had the screwdriver and like was threatening to hurt himself and hurt his grandmother or whatever because he was just mentally fucking unstable. And they shot and killed this dude when really, like, he just needed psychiatric help. Like,
yep, and that's what, and that's a big part of the defund the police movement is they don't want cops there in those situations. They want to have somebody there, like in the movies, like when you call the negotiator to come and handle the situation, because he's got hostages. Okay, that guy's equipped to handle that. So in this case, maybe they need a mental health professional there instead of a fucking cop with a trigger-happy finger. Like, that's what defund the police is about. It's not about this bullshit that you see, on these Trump commercials where they're trying to make it seem like you're going to be getting a house invasion and all you're going to get is a voicemail from the police department. That's not what it's about, you fucking idiots. And if you think it's about that, then you're a fucking moron and you need to listen to something else besides fucking that right-wing bullshit and Fox News. It's about fucking reforming things to properly have the right people in the right situations to handle these things, because cops are not psychiatrists and cops can't handle every situation that comes at them. We shouldn't expect them to.
Well, and it's funny because we give more care for animals than we do for human beings.
Absolutely.
If there's a situation involving an animal, we call animal control.
Oh,
so
I'm glad you brought that up because this wasn't on our topic list, but I saw a video. Now, listen, I consider my dog part of my family. Police consider their canines as a quote-unquote officer, okay? Even though, in reality, it's still a dog, okay? I love my dog, but I understand the difference between a dog and a human, okay? So I saw the video. It's like a iron fence, okay? The dog is barking because these officers are out there. They're out there legit. They're looking for something, all right, related to a crime. The lady, I think it's a lady, I don't know. The officer with the canine is near the fence. They asked the owners to bring the dog in. Before they even got a chance to, the dog attacked the canine because the canine was sticking his nose through the fence and the officer couldn't control him. So the dog inside the fence was trying to bite the canine. The officer fucking killed the dog. Imagine that. Your dog on your property that is fenced in, and now your dog is dead. Because we're dealing with animals, not people, animals. And your dog is now dead because some asshole officer can't control the fucking canine who are supposed to be highly trained in all of this stuff. How the fuck is that even close to being right? And I know I just took a left turn, but what you were saying just made me think of that. Like, you have dogs.
It's similar to and it's similar to another situation I saw where apparently like this, they had the police got a welfare call, a welfare check call on a house. And when they got there, they shot and killed this woman's dog because, like, when they entered the yard, the dog became aggressive and protective of the property and went to attack them, and they shot and killed their dog right there.
It's fucking unbelievable. These guys just, like, listen, I always say this because I have friends who are cops. There are more good cops than bad cops. There are more cops who use good decision, good judgment, and deserve all the praise and accolades that they get. We are not anti-cop on this podcast. I am for Blue Lives Do Matter. It's a stupid movement, but because it goes without saying. And I don't even think it's really a movement. It's just like an anti-Black Lives Matter thing, but whatever. We are pro-cop because they protect us. And they do shit that a lot of us wouldn't do. So for all you good cops out there, this is not on you. I'm not shitting on you. Rob's not shitting on you. Like, we got mad love for you guys. This is for the assholes who shouldn't be cops. This is for the assholes that are doing these stupid things. This is for the assholes who have these training practices in place that don't address certain things, where they do dumb shit like shoot guys in the back in front of kids. You know, like, this is for those guys. And that's what I don't think a lot of these people understand. This isn't an attack against cops. This is an attack against how cops are taught to react. This is about an attack on how they're trained, because some of these guys are straight hardos who used to be, just a nobody in the military, or used to be, a security guard that finally got the call to his local fucking sheriff's office or whatever, that loves getting a little bit of power, and they abuse the fuck out of it. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about these assholes, not the good guys who try to, embrace the community, who try to be good guys and do their job and use common sense. We're not talking about you guys. We love you guys. We're talking about the assholes. And unfortunately, there's a lot of them. With all this shit going on, guys getting pumped fucking shots in the back in a couple of days, like in a few days, in 2 different states. 18 shots in the back. What the fuck?
Yeah, I think as a community, as a country, we need to, increase training for law enforcement. We need to do better psychiatric and background checks on our law enforcement officers, because there are people in positions that they shouldn't be in.
Yep. But also like what Pennsylvania did, like what we talked about. You get these violations on your record. You don't get to go to another fucking county and just act like nothing happened, or another state or whatever. Like, no. If you're not fit to be a cop here, you're not fit to be a cop over there. Fuck off. Go get some fucking COVID. So that leads me to a quick story. Fantasy football is about to kick off once the football season starts, right? So my league that I'm in, we get a message saying, are you guys in? Let me know, because nobody's really talked to each other. And with the virus and everything, you don't know where everybody is, So couple of the guys replied right away, yeah, I'm in, yeah, I'm in. And then we started getting, no, I'm not in. And one of the guys says, like, just exclamation, capital letters, exclamation mark, no, no, no. So one of the guys joked around and said, what are you guys all afraid of catching the virus? And the guy proceeds to say that basically, in a nutshell, he's not going to spend his money and support any sports because he's tired of being treated because he's a white cop and he's tired of being treated as a racist and this and that. Supposedly the leagues are making them look like they're racists and basically kind of, anti-BLM. And, not in so many words, but like the leagues are going to get into this, so fuck them. Which, if you listen, I said the same thing myself. I don't want my sports mixing in with this stuff. However, a majority of the guys in this league are black dudes. So one of them was like, it seems like you're making this about you and, you don't you're not understanding that this is about bigger things. Basically this is about everything we just talked about. And so the guy responds back to him and says, oh, well, when you have to sit at a dinner table and your kids are crying because you got to go to work and they're having nightmares because they're afraid somebody's going to kill you and this and that and all of this stuff, then talk to me. So, yeah, it is about me, blah, blah, blah. Then he asked the commissioner to take him off the email chain. So to that, I can say, okay, that's fucked up. Your kid's crying and saying these things. You have to be able to sympathize with that. Like that's not cool. However, the guy correctly reacted to him. One of the other guys, a white guy, said, maybe we can use this as like a talking point. Like when the Deshaun Jackson thing where he disparaged the Jews and Julian Edelman said, hey, let's talk, So he used that comparison and said, maybe we can use this as a talking point to, come to some understandings here. And the guy basically told him like you think like what your kids are going through is nothing compared to what we go through our whole lives. Like we live those nightmares and we see them play out in front of our faces. And like, I'm sorry, but until you start recognizing this and start maybe having an open mind, then you're part of the problem. To which I say he's right, because I understand what this guy's saying, because he's probably a good cop. I don't know him that well, but he's probably a good cop. He probably just tries to do his job and things like that. But at the same time, he's not trying to understand the other side at all. And you see it with your own eyes, what your fellow cops are doing. You condone this or not? Now, we didn't get that far into it, but it's just a fucked up thing where you have the opportunity to have dialogue with a bunch of professional black dudes. These aren't thugs. These are guys who have good jobs, who are hardworking men, just like everybody else. These are upstanding brothers in the community. Like I know some of these dudes. I don't know them all, but I know them a lot. I know a few of them personally, but some of them, distant because it's a fantasy league. But for the most part, these are like real righteous dudes. And you could have dialogue with them about this stuff, and maybe you can change some opinions, some of their opinions. Maybe they could, like what we always say, talk about shit. And instead it's like, oh, get me off this email chain. Fuck these guys. Fuck the leagues. Fuck all of this. Fuck that. Like, okay, that's how we change things? That's the way we're doing things now? That's going to work? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I look, I think that to be a law enforcement officer in this country right now is very difficult. With that said, it's very difficult to be a minority, to be a black man in this country every day. It's been that way for a very long time. And I know plenty of law enforcement officers, and I'm friends with plenty of law enforcement officers who will say that there are bad cops. There are plenty of bad cops, and they've witnessed things that they don't necessarily agree with, have seen things that have gone too far, or like not been done correctly. And unfortunately, like they're also in the environment that it's kind of like that street code, like you don't snitch, like so there's that thin blue line. They don't snitch on each other, and there's repercussions to speaking out against a fellow officer. And if that's your career and that's what you're surrounded by, and now you have to deal with backlash because you spoke up against something. So I think what needs to be done is like we need to create a culture that it's okay for them to be like, hey man, you're going too far. Hey, enough is enough. I've seen a lot of these things too, where like citizens are talking about policing the police, and when they see that someone has someone pulled over, pulling over and making sure that it doesn't become one of those scenes where some guy gets shot in the back 7 times.
Well, I mean, in a lot of those cases, they'll just tell you to fuck off or you're going to get arrested for disorderly or whatever. So that's kind of hard to do.
Or whatever.
Yeah. But whatever. Let's move on. So apparently there's some candidates out there that are winning some of these elections, and they're QAnon supporters or whatever, or they believe in it. Do you know about this QAnon stuff?
Nah, I'm not familiar with it.
It's basically a conspiracy group that claims that I don't know if it's just Democrats. I don't want to misspeak, but that they're all Satanists that are running like a pedophile ring, and Trump's fighting against them. They just have all these conspiracy theories. One of which was, I guess, during the Obama administration. This is where I guess it started, or kind of started, was during the Obama administration. There was an expense for like 60 grand or something for hot dogs and pizza. Now, supposedly that's code for little boys and little girls. And supposedly there's I guess no evidence of any events or some bullshit like that, like something that really somebody wouldn't even have the information on. There's different theories that it was maybe like a Super Bowl party and Obama got like Chicago dogs and pizzas flown in or shipped in or whatever. I don't know what the details are, but I'm sure there's a logical explanation for it. But these fucking guys, like, it was from that asshole, the InfoWars guy that was pumping this agenda. So they have a following now. And people, how people love their conspiracy theories. So people are jumping on it with a quickness. And because they embrace Trump, of course, he does not say anything disparaging towards them. He just claims ignorance. He doesn't disavow. Like he ended up disavowing with the white supremacists. But so it got to the point where they asked what's his name, Meadows, the chief of staff, about it. And Chris Wallace did. Fox News, one of the only like real guys left on Fox News, which we'll talk about in a minute. Chris Wallace asked him about it, and he sidestepped it, and he's trying to say, oh, we don't know anything about these conspiracy theorists and this and that. But the FBI knows about them because they're considering them as a terrorist type organization. And because some of these, like some wacko at supposedly that same pizza restaurant, or no, a pizza restaurant in like in DC or something, that when Clinton was in office, I don't know, somebody shot it up and they follow this QAnon shit. Like I don't know the details of it, because I honestly don't want to delve deep into that world, but they believe our government officials are running a pedophile ring. And our president doesn't disavow. And neither does his chief of staff. He sidestepped it. He acted like he didn't know what he was doing, like he don't know what they're about, which if the FBI knows about them, you guys should know about them. That's QAnon. Nothing to say, huh? Wake the fuck up.
It's fucking stupid. It's crazy. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, we could not have scripted this shit or made this shit up. That, fucking 6 years ago, you'd be talking about how, there's a conspiracy that our government is running some fucking underground pedophile choo-choo train and passing around little kids. Like, what the fuck? Like,
oh, it gets worse. It gets worse because there has been some evidence that Russian intelligence or Russian groups know about this, and they know about our division. So they're pushing these QAnon conspiracies so that people buy into them. And the more these guys' name and their organization and stuff gets out there, the more people get roped into it, And
it's called propaganda, and it's a tool of fucking a communist country that's trying to push their agenda.
Yes.
Like,
the problem is,
and
the problem is now we have people running for office that believe in this shit.
Well, the other thing is, on that same token, though, there's conspiracy and speculation that our president was involved with people that were pedophiles, that were known to have sexual relations with young women.
Well, I mean, but I mean, there's pictures of Clinton with the same fucking guy and stuff. So, I mean, that can go either way. But, and who knows, maybe that's where it all came from. And listen, I'm not absolving the Clintons. Clinton seems like he was kind of tight with fucking that guy. What's his name? Epstein, right? Yeah. It seemed like Clinton was kind of tight with that guy. I mean, there's plenty of pictures of him or the lady that helped him run that shit with Trump. So, I mean, who's to say? But I'm not absolving the Clintons. Fuck that. Like,
well, but on the same token, could you absolve Trump for the same thing?
No, no.
There's this, yeah.
But without proof, it's a conspiracy theory. Well, and just to call people satanic child, like a whole group of people, like we can talk about Clinton because there's pictures of him with the guy, and I think there's records of him flying with the guy and stuff like that. We're talking about just like a whole party, like we're talking about a whole party with no evidence of anything. So, yeah. But whatever. Fuck QAnon. I hope they fucking catch COVID. So this guy wrote a book about Fox News, and it's called Hoax. And it basically outlines what an impact these guys have on our president, because and mainly it's their headliners. It's not, everybody else. It's the Tucker Carlsons, it's the Sean Hannitys, the Laura Ingrahams, like those people. So apparently what happens is, and they show like instances of it, Fox News will do their little propaganda thing where they'll, maybe talk about hydrochloroquine or whatever. Trump watches it. And then the next day, he speaks about it as if it's fact, just because it came from Fox News. So they're basically controlling his thoughts. They're controlling his agenda through these people. That's how powerful they are. Because all he watches are Fox and Friends and Hannity and all these fucking Fox guys, so they can say whatever the fuck they want, plant a little bug in his ear, and the next day he's spouting it off to the whole country. It's fucking unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. How fucking dangerous is that? This is our fucking president. It's fucking crazy. Like, what? I'm trying to think. What scenario? Like, what? Where does he draw the line? Like, if Fox News said, if Hannity said, tonight that, oh, well, there's some evidence that if you eat a fetus, that you might not, that it'll stop you from catching COVID. You think Trump will be on Twitter tomorrow saying, well, supposedly there's been evidence of, if you saute a little fetus there and, throw a little shallots and a little garlic and you wolf it down with an omelet, you'll be good from COVID. Like, what the fuck? How does this happen? How did we let this happen where our president is influenced by a handful of assholes who have their own agendas? Like, what the fuck are we doing? Jesus Christ. If you're a right-wing person and you take that because the guy works at CNN now, if you want to say, oh, his sources are bullshit and this and that, because supposedly the sources are afraid to speak up because Fox isn't a news outlet anymore. They're just Trump's propaganda machine, except with the exception of a few. They're afraid to speak out. This blurring of the lines between media, like news media and government is fucked up, because that's what dictators do. That's what happens in these countries where there's not a fair and balanced coverage. And so thank God we have CNN and MSNBC and the BBC and all these other outlets, because if you just listen to Fox News and all these other right-wing fucking outlets, you want to talk about sheep? They call us sheep for wearing masks? Look at your fucking self, you stupid fucks. You want to talk about sheep? How about you fucking pick up a book and look at some science, you stupid assholes. Sheep.
Well, I don't know if you caught this article this week either. So there was some mention about the U.S. position with Iran, with United Nations, and United Nations, 13 of the 15 members of the Security Council basically said the U.S. was being unpleasant and unreasonable with their, request to further sanctions with Iran. And I mean, we've never been in that position with the UN. Generally, we're the leaders of the UN, and most countries follow suit with us.
But that just they have beef with Trump. I mean, I don't put a lot of stock into that, because, and I'm with you. I don't know. Just my first thought is they don't like Trump, so they're gonna say whatever. But let's not give Iran a pass here. We're talking about a country that's trying to make nuclear weapons. So
no, and the countries that said that they had issue with the Americans' policy and their desire to reverse the sanctions did not say that Iran was right and did not say that Iran deserved a free pass. What they said was how the American government was handling the situation was not correct.
Well,
was not the appropriate way.
And I don't doubt that, because if you look at it, if you look at what Trump's doing, he's putting people in positions that they're not qualified to do the job. This fucking asshole who he put as the postmaster general, you know, granted, he stopped making changes because they started, you know, coming at him, but the changes he made are still affecting the post office. They have sorting machines that they can still use, but they're not using them.
Aren't turned on.
Yes. And from what I've been reading, like out in California, there's boxes of food and shit like that have gone rotten, that there's like rats and shit and gnats and all these bugs like infesting them. And they have tons of mail that hasn't been sorted. Like, okay, so you'll stop, but you've already done the damage. You've already removed all those post office boxes and shit like that. So, and that's just the post office. He's put people into positions that have zero experiences doing those fucking jobs. If you look at the turnover in the White House, it's more than it's ever been, ever. And listen, if somebody's not doing their job properly, I got no problems with you getting rid of them. You can do the you're fired thing all you want, as long as you have an acceptable replacement. Like, and I'll put an analogy with sports. Everybody wants to get rid of their coach when they go through some tough times. Okay, fine. You want to get rid of the coach? Who are you going to replace him with first, dummy? Give me a good fucking person who you're going to put there to do the job the way you want them to do the job. Like, and they'll just say, I don't know, just whoever. Well, fuck you. What do you mean whoever? You don't like the job this guy's doing? Well, tell me who's qualified to do the job better. And Trump just puts his buddies and people who are loyal to him in these positions rather than people who are fucking qualified. It's fucking bananas. Bananas. People need to fucking vote this fucking guy out of office. It's fucking bananas. I've never seen it.
Well, and you're seeing this whole, like, all the president's men, like this big thing where all these guys are getting like caught up for this criminal activity.
Oh yeah, Bannon
getting arrested.
Yeah.
Well, and not just Bannon, like.
Oh yeah,
so many of people that have like been
that have worked for him. Yes, it's fucking and yet these fucking assholes who used to care about this stuff. These Republicans who used to care about corruption, they used to care about a lot of this bullshit. They just turn their fucking eyes. They just turn their head. Like, well, nothing to see here. As long as he's doing his thing over there, I don't care. As long as he's not bothering me. As long as he's not fucking up my campaign. What the fuck? You took an oath, you cocksuckers. Show some fucking balls. I'm not a Republican, but if I was, I'd be fucking pissed at my party. I'd be pissed because all these assholes just pander and drop their pants to take it up the ass. It's fucking unbelievable. Anyways, I want to say let's move on to something lighter, but this topic has me fucking fired up. All right. Hold on. I need to take a quick breather for this one. Now, I will preface this and say Mike Milbury he's not a great guy. He's kind of an asshole. Okay? He's had incidents in the past. And we've been on this big, cancel culture bullshit where it's just going too far. And here's example number fucking 170,000. They're talking about the bubble in Toronto, okay? And the other announcer's saying about how it allows teammates to be with each other and get closer. And basically all these positives about them being together. So while he's going through it, Mike Milbury makes this comment. He says, and not even any women there here to disrupt your concentration. Okay? That's what he said. This turned into, so some sideline reporter from one of the hockey teams, a woman, was like, oh, it's 2020 and still this. And then it blew up, and all of a sudden the NHL is apologizing for his comments. He's removed from the broadcast. He's out basically for the rest of the year. And all he said was, there's not even any women here to disrupt your concentration. And you have all these assholes, these little fanboys of the feminists, who are saying that these are insensitive comments. And what the fuck am I missing? What did he say that's wrong? Play the other side. Tell me how that's offensive.
The funny thing,
I actually meant to call my daughter and ask her, do you take offense to this? And I'm gonna, and I'll have an update next week. Because basically what he's saying is, a lot of these guys are young. A lot of these guys want to smash puss. And they don't have those distractions right now. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, they're not going out to the club during the season and getting fucking stabbed up like Paul Pierce, if you recall that some years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't have those distractions. So,
but we're not talking about thugs. We're just talking about women.
No, but
like you're going at another angle.
But I'm saying like so. No, but I'm saying like so now you're in a situation where you don't have those distractions. I mean, I think that's the point he was trying to make, but because he said, you know, that there's no women here to like distract these guys, like it's some fucking thing, like he's being sexist.
All right, well, listen. All right, yes, that's exactly what these women are acting like. Like he said something misogynistic or sex. Yeah, yes, that's exactly. But these are probably women that don't have a fucking husband, or maybe some of them do, and they're just fully into this fucking feminism bullshit. But let's take for a second and say, okay, he meant like, oh, they don't even have their wives or their girlfriends to bother them. Like, let's say he meant that. Who gives a fuck? Even that is not a big deal, because I'll tell you this. There are times where I'm doing something and my wife distracts me. There are times where I'm doing something and my wife bothers me. It happens. It's called life, you stupid fucking assholes. It's called life. And there are times where I do the same thing to her. Okay? We do it to each other. So if this was flipped, and if this was a women broadcast team talking about women's hockey, and they said, oh, yeah, and there's not even any guys to worry about, would we be fucking flipping out about that? Would we be like, oh, that's so insensitive, blah, blah, blah? No, we'd be like, yeah, you're right. There's no swinging hams for them to fucking worry about going to grab. Or on the other, if you're looking at it the other way, there's no asshole bothering them about, you know, whatever his needs are, so that they can just focus on their sport. It's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. And now this guy's sitting home for the rest of the Stanley Cup playoffs because of that comment. Not even any women here to disrupt your concentration. What the fuck? And fuck you, NHL, for folding like a bunch of little bitches over nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, and it reminds me of, you know, like back in the day, you know, there was always that mentality, like when a fighter trains for a fight, you know what I'm talking about? Like, you know, a prize fighter's training for a fight, that he would go away from, you know, women and from his significant other, and he wouldn't fuck around and have sex for X amount of time because, you know, he was training and he wanted to, like, be hungry and whatever. So, I mean, it's kind of a similar thing here, like, I think that's what he was trying to say. And
yes. Listen, for you feminists and for you ladies that just don't get it, we are wired differently than you stupid idiots. We can be working on something of the utmost importance. But if a pair of sweet tits walks by, we're going to look at those sweet tits. Okay? That's just the way we're wired. And you know what that is? It's a distraction. Those big old bombs walking by me are a distraction, you fucking morons. Okay? That's what he said. It's a distraction. He didn't say, oh, they don't even have their wives over here nagging the fuck out of them and just being fucking cunts. He didn't say anything like that. He said, not even any women here to disrupt your concentration. He didn't even call him a distraction. He said to disrupt your concentration. So listen, you can be the guy, I don't know, put yourself in, for these women, let's say the guy working in the nuclear power plant and has a very precise job that he has to take care of with very specific instructions. Do you same ladies want chicks with short skirts and big tits or fat asses walking through there while they're trying to do their job to disrupt their concentration? I don't, because I know it's a fucking distraction. And that's what they don't seem to understand. We are men. We are fucking Neanderthals at heart. We see a piece of ass. We see some nice legs. We see something. We look. That's what we do. And that disrupts our concentration. It's not rocket science. We're wired differently than you. And that's why I always say, women, if women could stop being catty, they'd run the world. But they're quick to turn on each other. And that's their problem. And that's why they can't, that's what's holding them back. Because they're not wired like us. Most of them, or a good majority of them, can ignore the man meat walking by if they've got something that they need to focus on. We can't. We're idiots. We can't do that. And what he said was not offensive in any way, and it didn't deserve this, and it really pisses me off, and that's why I'm fired up about this fucking stupid bullshit. Because I don't even like Mike Milbury. He's a Boston guy and everything, former Bruin. But he's a fucking moron sometimes. He said some stupid shit. But this was not one of those things. Like, and this goes to the cancel culture bullshit and how fast the NHL just tuck their dicks between their legs and just fucking just shuffled away. It's disgraceful. So fuck that. Anyways, let's move on. I got it out. I feel better now. Thank you. Thank you for letting me. I'm going to miss Mike Milbury's analyst for the rest of the playoffs because he does a decent job, but still. So I saw an article that said I think it's the Keys, they are releasing genetically modified mosquitoes. This, my friends, is where it all starts. This is where Jurassic Park begins. Okay? Or maybe it's already happened and I just didn't know. But so supposedly the effort is to, if I can remember the story correctly, the mosquitoes they're releasing only produce other males. So you're going to have an influx of male mosquitoes so that they're not, making too many females mosquitoes. Now, what impact that's going to have to the environment, who knows? And how long it takes, who knows? But when we start doing this shit, it's a scary, scary, scary slope, man. Like, all I can think about is Jurassic Park. Because now we're doing Jurassic Park. This is the beginning. This is the beginning. Maybe this is nature's way of telling us that we shouldn't be in that area. Like people are getting bites and infected for certain things. Well, guess what? Maybe we shouldn't be there. Then this is nature's way of telling us. Like that's why the Amazon is the Amazon. People don't fuck with it, right? You're not worried about this?
I think I saw the article the other day, and I was like, so with everything that's gone on in 2020, now we're gonna dick with fucking God's plan. We're gonna dick with natural order. We're gonna dick with how things are going with.
Well, it can't be God's. It can't be God's plan in evolution. It's one or the other. It's one or the other.
No, because honestly, like I feel like you can believe in evolution and believe in God's plan, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
So yeah, I mean, so for us to be genetically fucking with things, especially of all years this year, you know what? I think anything that we were planning on doing this year, we should probably just say, you know what? Look, we're just gonna chill. We'll wait till 2021. Let's see how things go for 2020. Like, I think it's a terrible idea. Next thing you know, these fucking mosquitoes like band together and get swords and fucking take over the world. I don't know. Like, I think it's a terrible idea.
Or the genetics somehow alter some other animal that eats them, or there's a problem with there not being as many female mosquitoes now. Like you can't account for every little nuance of the ecosystem, and it's just a dangerous thing to do, man. It's just we're getting dangerous.
Well, and you look at in the past how doing this kind of thing has really fucked with certain things. So like I don't know if you've seen like where people have brought like creatures from other countries and then release them to the wild, and now like you have problems with these like overpopulations.
No, not just that.
Predators aren't.
Yeah, not just that. Like you just completely change the ecosystem. That's why there's laws against bringing certain animals like into the U.S. and other countries. Like you can't just bring this animal from China or this animal from Australia over here. Thank God, because Australia, holy shit, they got a lot of shit going on there. I don't want any of that fucking stuff coming here. Maybe the koalas. That's about it. You can keep everything else. Even your kangaroos. Fuck those guys. Like, Jesus Christ. Fucking Australia. Holy shit. I'd love to visit it, but that place is something else. So, I was watching a commercial the other day, and yeah, maybe you should get a defibrillator as well. So I was watching a commercial the other day, and there was this little girl putting peanut butter on her hot dog. And the parents asked where she learned that from. And of course she said the internet. And this is the dangers of the internet, because I saw another article about some asshole chef who, for whatever reason, said, if you don't want to use chili and all of that stuff on your hot dog, use tuna fish. We're talking about a tuna dog. There are certain things that don't go together. Oil and water, they just don't mix. You can put oil on the water, but if you notice, it just floats on top. It never really mixes, because that's not how things work. It's like to me, this is like having a big bowl of bolognese and just dumping a big heaping pile of fucking relish on it. Like tuna on a hot dog. Think about that for a second. I don't even see any scenario where that tastes good. And I'll admit I don't have the most advanced palate like, you know, a lot of these chefs do. But we're talking tuna on a fucking hot dog. When would you ever do that and why?
Even Ruggles disagrees with that fucking decision.
You heard him, right?
Yeah, but but I mean, I've never even like been like, hey.
Even my fucking dog is like, what the fuck? He was growling at that shit.
Like I've never had that inclination, been like in the kitchen and been like, you know what would be great on this hot dog? Some tuna fish.
Well,
No.
mind you, Ruggles likes tuna fish and he likes hot dogs. But the thought of putting them together, even he was like, fuck that.
He'd growl at you.
Not Ruggles approved. So
yeah, I mean,
the bigger point is the internet is great and it gives us all these fucking things, but then we get shit like this. And I guarantee you there are people out there who are trying it or who have tried it. And there's going to be assholes that say, yeah, it's not that bad. You know, because they're just that type of asshole who just go along with everything. No. We could say no. And I'm saying no to tuna on hot dogs.
Well, and my thing is, like, you see some crazy shit sometimes. You're like, oh, well, why does this work? How does this work? You know, like putting, like, chocolate-covered bacon. Like, you wouldn't think that would be good. But it's actually good. Because... Well,
in the same respect, chocolate-covered pretzels, you know? Like, yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, there's something to saltiness and savoriness, whatever. But you can't, like, when you take a hot dog and you put tuna fish with it, there's no parallel there. There's nothing that goes, oh, well, maybe that'll work. No.
Well,
not at all.
I mean, if you mix fish with anything, it changes the flavor significantly. So that's the key here. You know, I want my hot dog to taste like a hot dog, not like a fish dog.
Like, well, if that's the case, like,
I just make a tuna sandwich.
Are we talking all beef franks here, or are we talking about those chicken franks?
Doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. It's going to taste like a fish dog now. I don't want a fish dog. I want a fucking hot dog with mustard and relish. Don't give me that bullshit. If I want tuna flavor, I'll eat a fucking tuna sandwich. What the fuck are we doing? That's like trying too hard. So, have you ever had like has this asshole ever actually had a chili dog? You can't compare a tuna dog to a chili dog. What the fuck?
This is going to end up on a Burger King menu. It's going to end up on a Burger King menu.
Maybe. Man, I wouldn't put it past them. Burger King will try fucking anything. You know?
They're the tryhards of the fast food world.
Well, right now, well, Taco Bell is too. But right now, it's like the fucking Cheetos or Fire Cheetos or whatever. They're putting that shit on everything. Like, oh, let's put Cheetos here. Let's put Cheetos. Fuck you. If I want to eat Cheetos, I eat Cheetos. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. It adds nothing. You want to make it spicy, just make it spicy. I don't want fucking orange dust in my taco or on my fucking whatever chicken nuggets or fucking Cheeto my balls. Like, if I want Cheetos, I'll get a bag of Cheetos. God damn it. Anyways, well, since we went to the fast food world, we'll jump ahead real quick, and so KFC has decided to drop their slogan of I don't know how long, which is finger licking good. Okay? Because of the times we're in. Because of the times we're in, KFC is no longer finger licking good. I don't get it. If I'm eating fucking chicken, I probably wash my hands first. Worst case scenario, I didn't. But if your people are doing what they're supposed to do, my chicken should be good. So you're saying I shouldn't lick my fingers, I guess? So you're good. So the product's good, but you don't know. You're worried about my responsibility. So you're worried about me licking my fingers.
So you're implying I have dirty fingers.
You're implying I have COVID covered fingers. Like, I don't have COVID fingers. I wash my hands before I eat. At the very least, I'll sanitize them. If I want to lick my fingers, I'm going to lick my fingers.
So have they come up with a new slogan?
I don't think so. I think this is where the genius is. They blurred out finger licking. So they didn't get rid of it. They just paused it. So
I'll start it.
So they blurred it. They blurred it out. So I guess that's their answer. Like, we'll blur out the finger licking part. So it just says KFC good. Which actually, I kind of like it, but finger licking good has been around forever. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's that serious. I mean, I like that. Like, I've seen a few chains that have done, like, they do some mask into their logo, or they work, something that is relevant. So, like, like I stop at Sheets every day, whatever, and like they've done the little Sheets guy, and he's got like a little mask on him. So as you're walking in the door,
as long as they listen, fine. You want to adjust and adapt and make a play on it, great. As long as they don't just start getting rid of shit just because, like, they think people have COVID fingers and are going to be licking the grease off their fingers, and like, it's just stupid. So I've seen a couple of videos of like they get like the nerdiest square dude to read the lyrics to Cardi B's song WAP, which stands for wet ass pussy. For those that don't know, it's like a #1 hit right now. Let me preface this by saying the clips are funny because the lyrics are raunchy as fuck. And it just goes to show how when you're a kid, you look at things one way, and as you get older, you look at things another way. Because back in my days, it was like Little Kim. And she used to rap about gobbling dicks and all of that stuff. And I used to just not be like, think anything of it. But now it's like Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion on this song are saying some raunchy ass shit. And it's like, holy shit, if I had a young daughter, would I want them to be listening to this stuff? But that's besides the point. They have these guys, these nerdy guys reading the lyrics, and it's kind of funny, when you hear them being read by these dudes. And again, I'm used to this because I went through Little Kim and Foxy Brown and all of that stuff. But I've always had an issue with how, and guess what? Another unpopular fucking opinion coming from me. How popular Cardi B has become and how much influence she has. And when I hear songs like this, it makes me think about this. I don't know if you've heard this story. There was an Instagram model or something who brought her friend on this podcast. And the friend basically sucked off like 7 Phoenix Suns, like back to back. And that's why I feel like songs like this have danger of influencing these chicks, because this chick is a young chick. Maybe she's just a hoe. Maybe she's an outlier. Whatever. But she sucked off 7 basketball players back to back. Swallowed every load. She even confirmed it. So I don't know how to feel about this shit. Like, I always say, if you don't like it, just turn the other channel. I guess, if I'm being honest, I'm more offended by Cardi B being the big star that she is, because I honestly don't think she's a good rapper. There's times where I'll give her credit. She's gotten better. There's times where she actually sounds good. There's actually times where she kills a little feature here or there. But those times are few and far between. And basically on that song, and I know a lot of people don't give a fuck about rap and all of that stuff, but it's kind of where I grew up and kind of somewhat, kind of my thing. If you just listen to that song in itself, you see how much more talented Megan Thee Stallion is rapping than Cardi B is. Like, she runs circles around her in terms of flow and just delivery. Like, it's night and day. And I don't want to get too deep into this, but the reason Cardi blew up was because hip hop needed another voice besides Nicki Minaj. And it was ripe for somebody to come into the genre and take things to another level. Because imagine if you listened to music and there was maybe like 1 or 2 good male rappers and the rest sucked. Like, you'd be starving for a new artist, right? So a lot of women want to hear women rapping. A lot of women want to hear women rapping about certain topics. So Cardi took advantage of the situation and went bananas. Good for her. I got no issues with her. All I'm saying is she's not that good. She's not that good. She's exploited the fuck out of it. She's milked everything out of it. Great. Good for you. I got no beefs with you. I won't listen to most of your shit, but whatever. The kids do. Good for them. But
yeah, I mean, so
this is not the old man. This is not the old man saying your music sucks, because I listen to tons of modern rappers that I like. But go ahead.
So here's my thing. Like, I mean, and Little Kim, I guess, set the blueprint for like that style of rap. That female rap. That nasty, just get down shit. But at the end of the day, like, the artists that I always respected were the ones that had some fucking sustenance to what they were saying.
Yes.
And so I've never like viewed like Cardi in that like.
Agreed.
That book, because
Agreed.
She's not really saying anything.
No, you're right. It's all about shoes and purses and sex, and there's no substance, and that's why, like, if these kids would just like, if you really like rap music, how about you take a listen to Queen Latifah, listen to MC Lyte, like listen to, they made a comment about how they're the first female rap duo to debut #1 or some bullshit like that. I'm like, that may be the case, but Salt and Pepper was way better. Like, if you want to go back, and I don't want to go too far with this, but there was so many better female rappers. Look at like
Raw Digga. I mean, fucking Missy Elliott, I think is probably one of the most female, like talented female. And you may not like her. You may think she's too poppy and mainstream, but
listen. You should have never mentioned Missy Elliott. No. Missy Elliott is a trash rapper. She's better as a producer, and she's good with ad-libs and stuff like that. She sucks at rapping. I can't believe you brought her name up.
So you don't think that her, like, there's, what's that song? It's like where she does that, flip it and reverse it.
That's
like
production.
Where she actually reversed the fucking track and played, production-wise, like she reversed the back. You don't think that, like, made her, like, her own little thing?
That doesn't make you a good rapper. You're mixing.
No, but I think she stood out as. I think she stood out as a female artist. Like,
standing out doesn't mean anything. Cardi B standing out. The point is, who's a good rapper?
Yeah, but Cardi B.
Missy Elliott's a
Cardi
horrible.
B out for fucking selling.
The Brat is a way better rapper than Missy Elliott. If you want to go back to that, like, Missy Elliott sucks.
I would agree with that.
Missy Elliott's a terrible rapper. Terrible. It's like saying Magoo, fucking from Timberland and Magoo. What was a lyricist?
What would Magoo do? The funny thing is, I think Magoo would tear up like half these fucking mumble rappers nowadays.
Anyways, let's not make this into a music podcast. So, I guess DC had a big fucking little fan event or whatever, and they started releasing all their trailers for all the movies. You know, you got the Batman coming out with the vampire guy. You have Wonder Woman, which looks dope. I
saw the preview for Black Adam.
I didn't see that one yet, but they did a good job with the first Wonder Woman, so I have high expectations for the next one. They showed the trailer for the re-release of Justice League, the Snyder Cut or whatever, which is like super long.
Yeah.
Which is probably going to be better than the original was. Imagine making that much money on the same movie, but like you just kind of changed it.
Just recutting it.
Like, a genius move by them, but whatever. And they're waiting for next year because they want people going to the theaters to actually make the real money, you know, than the bullshit sales you get from the DVR stuff.
So no, I saw the fan art. Like they released like the Black Adam, I guess, preview of what The Rock would look like as Black Adam, which I thought was pretty dope.
Oh, there was no trailer?
I wasn't familiar with. No, it was just like some, like like they released his costume and all that shit. But
okay.
I was never a big fan of Shazam. I'd never heard of fucking Shazam. And then I watched the movie, and then I did like a little bit of like, you know, fanboying, and I was like, okay, this is kind of fucking cool. And Black Adam is a dope ass character. Like, I'm looking forward to like in the movie.
Well, they did a good job with Shazam.
I think they're talking about the new Batman.
Yeah. What about him?
Like the new Batman should be pretty fucking dope. Just the layout of the movie and how sick it's gonna be. I think DC's come fucking leaps and bounds from where they were before. From Green Lantern.
Let's hope so. Because they've had so many swings and misses. It's horrible. But I did notice the new Suicide Squad movie. I don't know if you saw that trailer. They've expanded the roster of the people in the Suicide Squad to like more than like double. And, you know, they got rid of some of the old ones, the less popular ones, and they added some new ones. And it got me thinking, like, why are they so enamored by Suicide Squad? Why wouldn't they just make a Legion of Doom movie in lieu of the Suicide Squad? Is it just because the name sounds cooler? Because the Legion of Doom is a dope-ass name. And they had all the bosses.
Yeah.
Like, Suicide Squad is just like side guys. Some of them are barely bosses. The Legion of Doom has the bosses. The Legion of Doom has Lex Luthor. The Legion of Doom has Joker. The Legion of Doom has Black Mantis or Black Manta, whatever the fuck his name is. Like, they have the legit Bizarro Superman. They have the legit, you know, rivals to the Justice League.
The Justice League.
So
I think part of that is
that's weird.
They're so enamored with Suicide Girls because, or the Suicide Girls. I think they're so.
Is that a recent porno you watched?
You never heard of Suicide Girls' fucking website?
Oh, continue. Let's not go down that path. Let's not go down that path. Continue. We're talking about Suicide Squad.
So, yeah, Suicide Squad, not to be confused with Suicide Girls, which is tattooed pinups. The difference is, like, I think the Harley Quinn character and the female lead, I think what DC is really trying to push their female characters, like Wonder Woman, and I think that's why it's such an interesting, thing for them is the popularity of Harley Quinn is really selling that brand for them.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, but she barely sold Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey didn't do too well, and she was basically the focal point. So maybe they miscalculated on that.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen Birds of Prey, if I'm being honest.
I think I turned it on and fell asleep. So,
well, that's not surprising.
Yeah, like I said, I've never been a DC like fan. Pretty much, like I was mostly a Marvel guy.
Well, I grew up with the old cartoons. Like there was a Justice League cartoon, and they were constantly battling the Legion of Doom. It was on Saturday morning cartoons, just like we talked about in one of our episodes. So I just feel like Legion of Doom is just a dope name, and it's like the all-star fucking villains versus the Justice League, your all-star heroes. So I just feel like it would have been a better path to go versus Suicide Squad, but whatever. I don't get paid all that money like those fucks do.
I mean, maybe they haven't got there yet, though.
Maybe, but I don't know. Whatever. Fuck them. Hopefully they do a better job. So the last thing I wanted to talk about, pending anything that you have, is they're releasing a limited edition version of Lucky Charms, and I don't know if it's actually like, well, no, it is. It's branded Lucky Charms. Marshmallows only. You get a bag of Lucky Charms marshmallows. Now, I don't know if that's meant to just eat in lieu of cereal or if it's just meant to use for recipes. But if you sit down and grab a fucking bowl of marshmallow-only Lucky Charms, we need to watch you. You need to be put on some type of list. You know how the airlines have like no-fly lists and stuff like that? if you sit down and just eat a bowl of marshmallow only Lucky Charms, you need to be on the list. You need to be watched because it's just not right. It's just not right. And what I equate it to is if you took a package of Oreos and you just scooped out all the cream of every fucking Oreo and threw the cookies to the side and just sat there and ate a bowl of fucking Oreo cream.
Yeah, I mean, I think what makes Lucky Charms so good is the balance of the plain kind of cereal with the marshmallows. Like that, it's not overwhelmingly sweet. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. What would an Oreo be without the cookie? You know what I'm like?
Yeah.
It's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Nobody's eating jelly sandwiches. Have you ever heard somebody say, I'm going to have a jelly sandwich? Ever?
No, but you've definitely heard people eat just a peanut butter sandwich, but
True.
No straight jelly sandwich.
True, because you can deal with a salty thing. I mean, people eat chips all the time. People eat pretzels. Yeah. Like we can, but we will have something to wash it down with. You know, you'll have like milk, or in the case of chips and pretzels, you have a beer or a soda or something. But you've never heard somebody say, "Oh man, fucking could go for a good jelly sandwich right now." like,
let me get down on this jamwich.
Yeah, like just load up a fucking sandwich full of jelly. Like, no, because it's too much. You need balance. There has to be balance. So, listen, I might buy the thing just to use for recipes, to put in, I don't know, some brownies or whatever. I can spitballing. I'm Trump spitballing about fucking injecting bleach. I might buy the marshmallows to use for, say, for example, in Rice Krispies treats. Maybe I don't want to make Lucky Charms treats. I want to make Rice Krispie treats with Lucky Charm marshmallows. Whatever. I might use them in other ways. Sprinkle them on top of a cake. Well, however the fuck you want to do it. Cupcakes or whatever.
Sprinkle them on ice cream.
That's where it belongs. But if you're actually savage enough to sit there and pour a whole bowl full of marshmallows and then just proceed to eat it and crush it like it's regular cereal, you, my friend, have some issues. And if you know somebody who does this, you better keep your fucking eye on them, because they might end up, I don't know. What would a savage like that do? I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to cast aspersions, so I'll just leave it alone. I don't want to say they'll try and fuck your dog or anything like that, because that would just not be right. But I don't know. There's balance. Just like in everything else, there's balance. You can't fill your stomach with a bunch of light beers on an empty stomach, because at some point your stomach is going to say, there's too much liquid here. So you got to eat some pretzels, or you got to eat some nachos, or you got to eat something to absorb some of that liquid so you can keep drinking beers. There's balance. There's balance with everything. So be careful with those Lucky Charms marshmallows, everybody. Got anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right. We'll catch you next week. Laters.
Oh. It is our mom's birthday.
Wait. We're back now. We passed it. It's 12:04.